if the Nets get Beal, are they contenders? Do they make the finals?
Without question, to me, they're definitely contenders, and I definitely think they can make the finals in the Eastern Conference. You're listening to a Bradley Beal fan here. I mean, I'm not like some people I know. I got some friends, y'all, in Chocolate City, in D.C., or they will remain nameless because I don't want to incriminate them publicly, but they give no love and no respect to Bradley Beal compared to what he
you
deserves.
need to delete
and
their
they know who
numbers
I'm talking about. Something's wrong with them. One person in particular, but she will remain nameless. Here's the deal, okay? Bradley Beal averaged 30 last year. Bradley Beal was the only thing worth watching. Even though Bradley Beal is making $28 million in today's NBA market, as far as I'm concerned, he's underpaid. This dude is a big-time scorer. He's a big-time ball player. I love him. And you talk about, listen, I think he'd be a good number one. He's an elite number two, and he would be a spectacular number three, okay? Because he doesn't need to be ball dominant in order to score. And the thought of him and Kyrie together, Lord have mercy. You talk about box office, Jalen and Max. You talk about box office here. I'm just trying to, with Kyrie dancing the way that he can dance, with Bradley Beal stroking the way that he can stroke, with Kevin Durant doing what he's doing. I don't want to hear nothing about Milwaukee. I don't want to hear nothing about Philly. I don't want to hear, unless they get shooters, I don't want to hear it, okay? I don't believe it, not for 1 second in today's NBA culture. I think the Nets come out of the East. I think they'd be able to challenge for the title. I'm not saying they'd win it definitively because there's some teams in the West they'd have to contend with. But in the Eastern Conference, in today's NBA, where the Greek freak Giannis Antetokounmpo can't bully ball the way he does in the regular season, I'm sorry. I would go with if the Nets got Bradley Beal, please. They'd be my favorites to come out of the East, I can tell you that. Because I believe that Kevin Durant.
Stephen A. Ready for
Kevin
this?
Durant's going to come back healthy. Go ahead.
You know, I don't know that Kevin Durant's ever going to be 100%. I don't even know if he's going to be 80%. But they get Bradley Beal, and that's
80%. He's still out.
I don't know about next year. They're coming out of the East. Let me say something about all three players. Number one, I was going to say precisely that, Stephen A. If Bradley Beal is your number one, you ain't going to win a championship. But you can contend. If he's your number two, you can have a powerhouse. If Bradley Beal is your third best player, oh, look out. Because people get it twisted. A guy comes into the league a certain way, and sometimes people get fixed on that kind of player. Even though Beal came in when he was 19 years old, not a good defender, you could see he had offensive promise, but not an all-star yet, and built and built and built. He's a pretty good defender now, and an excellent offensive player. Not all all-stars are created equal, and while Beal is not an MVP caliber player, he's not just like a sometime all-star caliber player. He's a solid to high-end all-star caliber player as your number three. Now, Kyrie Irving. A lot of pressure on Kyrie, Stephen A. Lot. Because we've seen Beal with John Wall, who has, is anyone more talented than John Wall? Only thing he can't do that Kyrie can do is shoot, right? And they didn't do much. They didn't do as much as they were supposed to do. So now Kyrie has a direct comparison, but he has it plus because of KD's presence there. No matter what version of himself KD is, that brand name's going to be on the floor with them. A lot of pressure on Kyrie. Kyrie can't afford an underachieving team if Beal is there after having underachieved with everyone except LeBron James, where teams consistently get better when he leaves, with the exception of the Cavs. But the Celtics and the Nets and a lot of pressure on Kyrie. And finally, KD, guys. Even if KD's not 80%, you know who the closest similarity to KD is in the history of my watching the NBA is Tracy McGrady. Like a long, lanky, at his best MVP caliber player. People forget how great McGrady was. At his peak, just about as good as anyone. And like MVP caliber. But his peak was cut short by nagging injuries and then the knee injury. He was never the same after the knee. But you know what? He was still, if you had, KD is better than McGrady ever was, as great as McGrady was. And even if you have KD coming down to the kind of player that McGrady had to fall down to after the knee, which is high-end rotation, if not maybe an all-star, with Beal and Kyrie, they're going to make it out of the East eventually.
A lot of great information by both of you gentlemen. Stephen A., you delete whoever number in your phone this doesn't realize that Bradley Beal is that deal. And one thing that they would be able to achieve that no other team in the NBA has is 3 All-Stars that each made it when they didn't play with one another. So the Golden State Warriors have 3 All-Stars in the Splash Brothers and Draymond Green, but when they weren't there, Draymond Green wasn't an All-Star. Look at the Clippers, they have 2. Look at the Lakers, they have 2. Philadelphia, they have 2. The Bucks have 2. The Celtics have 2. Jaylen Brown was a fringe All-Star, could have been 3. They would have 3 legitimate All-Stars. And you know what you need to get used to hearing when KD comes back next season, everybody. We're not talking about this year. Tommy Shepard, by the way, the general manager of the Washington Wizards, Stephen A. and Max, he knows everything about Bradley Beal's game that you guys know. So I would assume that he would want to keep him on his team. I love Karis LeVert. I love Dinwiddie. I've seen Harris make shots. Allen played some quality minutes for the Nets up front. But I don't see you parlaying those pieces like they were indirectly able to parlay D'Angelo Russell that allowed them ultimately to land KD. I just don't see the Washington Wizards doing that. But if they were to do that,
neither do I.
I agree with both of you guys. They would be my favorite to win the East next season.
Well,
you think it's possible
Jalen, let me
Kyrie
throw
is the
this at
trading chip?
No.
I don't believe you do that deal as Kyrie being a trading chip, and you don't move Kyrie based on the dynamics of his relationship with KD. You allow those 2 guys to play it out next year. Ultimately, the
That's why he's
long-term
there.
So you went back and forth with Bazemore on Twitter about his comments about you and Steph battling for that scoring title. Congrats on that. What's your reaction to him more recently saying, Bradley, that he's just joking around? He said, we got guys hurting hamstrings trying to keep up. Talk to me.
I didn't like that. I didn't like the last part of the comment. The first half of it about what Steph was doing was, I'm with you. 49 and 29 minutes is, I think everybody in here can agree that that's remarkable and truly amazing, right? So nobody's arguing that. But I didn't mention you. My hamstrings have nothing to do with why I go out there and play the game. And for me to injure my hamstring and then you kind of make a joke about it, I don't take that too fondly, honestly, because I take pride in being somebody who, my first 4 years, I was always labeled as an injury-prone guy. I was always labeled as somebody who couldn't stay on the floor. So I take pride in my body. I take pride in being on the floor and being available for my team and giving my team the best chance to win. My main focus is getting us to the playoffs, and that's all I'm focused on. And so that was just all I was just trying to kind of get my point across. So just keep your situation over there. Let's just keep it hoops. Don't make fun of something that's not funny.
Bradley, I know you answered like how it's more important for you to help your team win than to win the scoring title. But Russ got his triple-double locked up. Y'all are in the play-in tournament. You ain't getting back. It is what it is. You're going to have to play too. Come on, you and Russ don't have any side convos like, all right, bro, let me do my thing and see if I can get the scoring title over Steph Curry?
Honestly, no, Max, because nothing's changed. Nothing's changed for me. I've been doing the same thing. I've been playing the same way I've been playing the last 2-3 years. Nothing's changed. I feel like I've been putting up big numbers, but a lot of those numbers I've been taking L's. I've been, so now we're in a position where we're winning. We're playing some of the best basketball we've been playing all year and at the right time. So that's always been my main focus and priority. Russ is a machine. We all know that Russ is going to go out there and do what he do night in and night out. And my job is try to give us the best opportunity and chance to win. And my ability to score does that.
You might want to have that conversation. A scoring title over Steph Curry? Are you out of your mind? Your seeding isn't going to change. He got his triple-double. It's your turn, brother. What's going on?
Wow.
You never know what can happen in these last couple of games, Max. We might be able to move up 7th, 8th. We might have some help from some other teams.
That's true. You could move up. That's true.
You never know.
You can still grab 8.
But I'm with you. I'm with you on that. It would be remarkable to be able to win that, but that wasn't a goal of mine at the beginning of the year. So I'm not going to make it one now. But if it happens, it happens. I will be happy. I'm not going to sit here and be naive about it.
So, Brad, your teammate Russell Westbrook passes the Big O for most triple-doubles of all time. What was it like having a front row seat to seeing him make history, and what has he meant to your team this season, especially what he's done in this second half?
Well, I'll start with what he means to our team, man. He's, man, heart and soul, because it was always the misconception of Russ, and how he is as a teammate, how he is as a person, how he responds to coaches and things like that. And it's the total opposite. He's all about the team. He's all about winning. He's all about getting better. And he's all about pulling his teammates up and trying to get the best out of everybody. And I think that's something that's helped me this year, and seeing his mentality and his approach to the game night in and night out. He's an MVP, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. And, now he holds the record for most triple doubles in the league. And to sit there, share the floor with him, and then last night to witness that, it's been, I ask him, like, how does he do it? Because I see him banged up. I see him injured. I see him playing through all type of stuff. And, he's constantly putting up the numbers. He's constantly giving us chances to win. And, that's exemplary. I take pride in that and his work ethic and his approach to the game. And it's just a trickle-down effect to the rest of us.
Bradley, when the trade was made, it's like, oh, hold up. Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal on the same team. I was sitting here saying that's an elite backcourt. There's no Steph and Clay. What's the best backcourt going to be? Because there was no guarantee Kyrie and Harden would play well together or that you two would, right? We have to wait to see how this would shake out. You knew Chris Paul and Devin Booker were going to fit. But how are you going to fit with Westbrook? How is Harden going to fit with Kyrie? Boy, you all answered that question. But my question to you about both of you and your team's performance this year is why did it take so long for Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook to figure out how to lead the team to wins together?
I don't know, Max. I don't want to sit here and give you a list of excuses because we got a million. We can sit here and say COVID hit us. We can sit here and say, Thomas Bryant was injured. At the beginning of the year, we didn't have him for the whole year. I dealt with injuries throughout the year. Didn't really have a full gel of team. We had 50 different lineups. We had brought guys up from the G, signed some two-way guys, signed some 10-day guys. So we have a list of excuses, and I'm not going to sit here and say those are the causes. So honestly, it was just a matter of us just clicking, and I couldn't really point to what it was. But once we won one game, it became 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, and we just stuck to our guns. We didn't change what worked for us, and I think the biggest thing is we decided to start playing defense, and I think
defense underrated in the NBA right now.
It's always the same in the NBA. Yeah, we decided to start playing defense. We started winning. Look at that.
About that time.
So I guess it was just the right time, right before the playoffs. Obviously, we wanted to give ourselves a chance. Coach Brooks actually broke it down right after All-Star break and kind of broke them down in a series of 5s. Our game's a series of 5, and let's just approach it that way and we try to win each series, get 3 out of 5, and we've been doing that. We've averaged, I think it's like 3.3 wins or whatever it is. So
wow.
we're putting ourselves in positions to win. So now it's just a matter of capitalizing.
No question. 2 things before we let you roll real quick. The hamstring, not making light of it over here. I want you to know that. When can we expect you back on the court?
Soon, hopefully.
Okay.
I know it's not too serious, which is a blessing, because I know how strenuous these injuries can be, and I know how